Hey everyone, it's Motech Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at the Razer Deathadder X Hyperspeed. This is yet another entry into the long-running lineup of Deathadders from Razer, but this one is going to be budget-friendly at $59 while still giving you a wireless connection. So this follows in the trend of the Irachi V2 that we saw earlier from Razer. I'm going to be taking you through everything you need to know about this mouse, so without further ado, let's get right into it.
The unboxing experience here is super simple. You'll just find the mouse itself and a basic AA battery. Now when it comes to design, the Deathadder has been around for a long time. It has sort of this cult following, and this right-handed ergonomic shape will either be great for you or you're really gonna hate it. But if you do like the original Deathadder, this is gonna have that same iconic shape. This shape is really designed for a full palm grip or a very relaxed claw grip. I don't see any other grip working out too well here. In terms of sizing, I'm going to have the numbers up here on the screen for you guys to see. I think that this mouse comes in at right around the middle size, so I think mid-size hands or slightly larger hands are going to feel really comfortable with this mouse, but I think smaller hands would struggle here. The older Deathadders used a smooth and shiny plastic, but this Deathadder uses this grainy and textured matte plastic that is very similar to a PBT keycap from Razer keyboards. They also removed the rubber side grips that we saw on all previous Deathadders, and now it's completely covered in this new plastic. Removing these rubber grips makes it incredibly hard to properly lift this mouse in gameplay if you like to do that, and combined with its heavy weight, which I'm going to touch on in a bit, I feel like they should have definitely kept the rubber grips here. Now the most noticeably visible change on this Deathadder Hyperspeed is that they added two new buttons on the left primary click. They don't get in the way as much as I thought they would, so that is a really good thing. The top cover is removable, just like we see in the Irachi V2, and you can actually order this cover in a lot of custom designs from Razer for an additional cost as well. Under this cover, you'll see the placeholder for your USB dongle, as well as the battery chambers. You'll have one slot for a AA battery and another for a AAA battery. These slots are angled this way to make this mouse with a better weight distribution. And in terms of weight, this is a heavy weight here with the AA battery installed. It comes out of the box in at 103 grams. But if you use a AAA battery, it'll drop to around 90 grams.
Now I also noticed that with a AA battery, the weight is going to be shifted to the front here. But with a AAA battery, it's going to be balanced perfectly in the middle. So if you were to go with this mouse, I would definitely recommend you put a AAA battery in there.
Now when it comes to build quality, the Deathadder Hyperspeed is absolutely solid like you would expect from Razer. There is no flex anywhere, but you might hear some creaks every now and then from that removable cover, but I think that's just because of its removable nature. Other than that, I have absolutely no worries about the build quality here. Now in terms of wireless connectivity, the Deathadder Hyperspeed has the same options that you do with the Irachi V2. So you have either the 2.4 GHz dongle, or you can use the Bluetooth here to connect across multiple devices. So this has really nice versatility for both productivity and gaming. Now the Deathadder Hyperspeed is going to come with the same switches they use on the Irachi V2, which are the Razer's second gen mechanical switches. These are a modded version of the Kali 2.0, and I personally love these switches. They are one of the best around and the levels above switches found on the older Deathadders. But let's do a little sound test here before we talk further about them, just so you guys can hear for yourself how these switches sound. Right, so as you heard, these second gen mech switches from Razer sound awesome. They are really crisp and snappy, and they definitely feel great in gameplay. They give a satisfying feeling in all different types of games. Now there's barely any pre-travel, and there is absolutely no post-travel here with the switches. The response time here is instant, and the wireless connection is lag-free with no noticeable input lag. It's awesome that we can get this level of wireless performance in a gaming mouse at this price nowadays. When it comes to the side buttons, they are really large and comfortable while being very easy to reach. They definitely feel really snappy and quick, so I have no complaints here for the side buttons. And finally, when it comes to the two new buttons that they've placed here at the top, I personally didn't find them useful at all for my case. I think the only point of these is maybe a DPI switch, but that could have easily been implemented below the scroll wheel or at the bottom of the mouse. And I feel that if it was put below the scroll wheel, it would actually be easier to reach than these two buttons here. Now looking around at the bottom of the mouse here, the sensor that they've used is the 14K Razer sensor, the same one that is found on the Arachi V2. It's excellent as you would expect from Razer, and the tracking properties are fantastic within FPS games, and the input is very accurate to my hand movement. You can also calibrate this sensor to different types of mouse pads in the Razer Synapse app, just like other Razer mice. The feet used here are 100% PTFE, and they have a nice thickness right out of the box, so the glide across my glorious ice mousepad feels really nice. Now Razer claims that the battery life here comes in at 235 hours with the included battery. Now, over the time of my ownership of the mouse, I obviously didn't have time to run this battery out, but this should be good for at least a couple of months of use. Now when that's over, you will need to switch the battery out, and if you want more battery life and less weight, you can definitely use a lithium AAA battery in here. And also, because the mouse doesn't have any RGB lighting zones, this battery life claim should be more on spot. Alright, now in terms of productivity use, I think that the Razer Deathadder Hyperspeed holds up pretty well. I used it for work and to edit my last video, and I felt like the right-handed ergonomic shape really helped me holding it for long hours. I also like that it comes with just a battery, so you don't have to charge it, and if you work with it every day, you don't have to worry about it running out of charge in the middle of the workday. Now in terms of gaming performance, the Deathadder Hyperspeed is just fine. If you're a Deathadder fan, you will definitely like this mouse. I think that it brings the major upgrades to the switches over the previous wired Deathadders that we've seen, and if you love a relaxed palm grip, then not many mice can beat the Deathadder in this category. So if you already like Deathadders, then this is just going to be a better Deathadder. The weight with the included battery is definitely too high in my opinion. I would always go with a AAA battery here to bring down that weight, especially for FPS games and low DPI gameplay.
In the end, is the Deathadder X Hyperspeed worth it? Well, I think for you palm grippers out there, or if you already own a Deathadder and you're a big fan of it and you're looking for an upgrade, this is going to be perfect for you. This is the best Deathadder that I've tried to date, and I think that it brings a lot of nice new features to the table while still maintaining that iconic shape that you are used to. Alright, so that was all for the Deathadder X Hyperspeed. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button as well as subscribe with the bell notifications on. That's going to be the best way to support the channel as well as keep up with the video uploads. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.